President Obama forging ahead with his plan to empty out GITMO just 2 days after the Paris bloodshed. The Obama administration released 5 more GITMO detainees to the United Arab Emirates, no less, raising some questions about his timing. Captain Chuck Nash and Dan Henninger are back with us for this one. Captain Nash, let me start with you. Well, we are watching video of people across the world in Belgium and in France trying to track down and take jihadis off the battlefield. How wise is it to release people back onto the battlefield here at home?
I think this is really a political move. It has nothing to do with national security because there are criteria that they have been using since Guantanamo was established where they would evaluate the person's threat, their intelligence value, and whether they were being a good prisoner and not causing trouble. And if you pass those things, you pass those reviews, which were held on a regular basis, then they let you go. They put you up to go. Now it appears that what's happening is the administration is trying to accelerate, putting pressure on those making the decisions to accelerate to get the number down to such a small number that they can make the excuse of, well, it's not worth keeping this open because we have so few.
Dan, I knew someone would bring up this idea of good behavior and these people do not pose a threat. Looking through the background of these people and why these 5 in particular were being held at Guantanamo, I mean, almost all of them have multiple trips to different training facilities for al-Qaeda in both what is called basic and advanced training to be on the battlefield. One, at least, was identified as Osama bin Laden's bodyguard, one of the many, I'm sure. When they go through their list of where they have trained, where they have gone, I don't know how any type of behavior in GITMO could earn you a release when you have this kind of a background.
Well, that's right, Melissa. And I think they are getting down. They've had releases now for several years, and they're getting down to the point where most of the people remaining in Guantanamo have been determined as indeed too dangerous to release. Now, that in other words, no other country will take them. But now President Obama is trying to find legal opinion from inside the White House to close Guantanamo on his own authority without congressional approval. Congress voted 91 to 3 this year not to allow any money to be spent on bringing those prisoners here to the United States. He's talking about bringing them to the Brig in South Carolina, Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, or the Supermax prison in Denver on his own authority. This would be a breach of his constitutional authority, and I think it would create a political firestorm, especially on top of the refugee problem we just discussed.
So instead we send them to the U.A.E. where we have no idea, really, what is going to happen after that. Gentlemen, thanks to both of you. We're out of time. David.
All right, we got some late breaking news. The match will go on. It's England versus France, and it is much more than just a soccer game.